got?
Oh yeah, there, eh? Just spending the day there watching Canadian pickers like the Canadian I am.
Topped out truck. I think it's supposed to be gold bar.
Oh yeah, gold bars there, eh? Yeah, definitely get a nice...
Toy, probably 1930s.
Oh yeah, 1930s, oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be quite a good dollar there. I should take that one, 50 bucks. 50 bucks.
Yeah, it's a Lehman.
Oh, no, we're gonna have to wait till the commercial's over. Okay, let's get on with the deck profile there, eh? I have to ride my moose over to the table there where it's waiting for me. Oh, upside down. There we go. Hey guys, there was 555 here, and don't worry, I'm not going to use that terrible Canadian accent throughout the whole video. So this is going to be my Inzektor deck profile with triple Hornet. Now, I'm just going to say this right away for people who are coming to this video. Hornet is not at 3. I am just showing you guys what my build would probably look like if Hornet went to 3. I honestly think the card should go to 3. It's really not... Like, I don't think people are saying Dragonfly should go back to 3 as well. That's ridiculous. Hornet Dragonfly is still, like, insanely good, especially against pendulums, because you can, like, pop scales and stuff and then just win. So, yeah, I feel like Dragonfly is so abusable, and we have cards like, you know, Call the Haunted, Powerful Rebirth, Soul Charge, Giga-Mantis, that you can abuse one Dragonfly, and you can search it out so easily as well that I feel like one Dragonfly is more than enough. I just want 3 Hornet back, I really do. So I figured I would show you guys the deck of how I would play it if Hornet was at 3. So please keep that in mind while you're watching the profile. I'm not cheating. Me and Brendan do this sometimes with decks. Where I did it with windups one time too, where we kind of played in like ARG format. I think in ARG format Hornet's at 3. I can't really remember, but anyways. So you can just say this is an ARG deck profile if you want to look at it that way. So starting things off, we have 1 Dark Arm Dragon. A lot of people don't play this in Blackwings anymore, which I can understand because it's kind of dead if you draw it late game, but I still think it's amazing in this deck, just because you have so much graveyard control, and Dark Arm Dragon combos really well with your Inzektor cards because you can use it to pop your own cards in the field, meaning you can hit like a Giga-Mantis equipped to a Dragonfly, or equipped to a Centipede, or a Sword equipped to a Centipede, etc., etc., etc. So you can do a lot of crazy plays with that and potentially push your OTKs. I don't have my ulti anymore. I did trade it for the entire wind-up deck again, so that was kind of nice, but I'm totally fine with the super. I actually really like it. So triple Inzektor Centipede. This is the heart of the deck, really. This is your search card. This is the guy that when you send an Inzektor card, or equipped card, I should say, from him to the graveyard, you can search one Inzektor card from your deck to your hand. The cool thing about this as well is it says cards. So if multiple, say there's 2 equipped cards and they get sent in a separate chain, or in the same chain but in separate activations, it will actually add you 2 cards instead of 1. It is important to note if your opponent uses the Mass Destruction card where you have multiple cards on an Inzektor, since it says cards, they actually will only get 1 search or 1 special summon off that respective destruction, so it's important to remember that. The 1 Dragonfly, this guy's the heart of the deck. Once you get this guy rolling, you pretty much win. A lot of people say this deck's not good anymore. I completely disagree. I think this deck's still really good. You know, targeting destruction is still really good. I mean, it sucks versus Cosmos, but against pendulums and stuff, it's really powerful. You don't really even have to use Hornet's effect. You can also always do Ladybug plays. And Dragonfly just helps you spam the board. You can use the Inzektor card's effects multiple times in a turn. That's something that Konami, I think, is slowly starting to fix with a lot of their new cards they're making, as they're trying to get away from the fact that they're making cards not once per turn, and they really need to, because there's so many ways to abuse cards nowadays with the card pool that we have in this game. So next up is the 1, 2, 3 Inzektor Hornet. This card needs to go back to 3. Seriously, like... This card is amazing. Hornet's super good, but there's so many ways to like get rid of the 1 Hornet nowadays. Like, you know, banish it from the graveyard or whatever. And if you lose the 1 Hornet, you basically just kind of lose the game. Hornet's really cool too because you can equip Hornet with Hornet. So if you open double Hornet, you still have plays. But this deck just isn't as powerful as it used to be. It's still really good, but Hornet just doesn't do as much damage as it did in the slower format when Inzektors first came out. So I feel like Hornet can easily go back to 3. Like in ARG format, I'm pretty sure they put it to 3 in ARG format. And Inzektors aren't doing anything there whatsoever, so I just love the deck. I think it's super fun. So I'm just playing 2 Ladybug. I feel like you don't need 3 anymore if Hornet is at 3. You could potentially still play 3 if you want to do an pure Insect Imitation build. I was trying triple Insect Imitation. I actually really liked it, but it was a little cloggy. You can also Insect Imitation like Cardcar D and Maxx, so I feel like with 6 level 2 targets, Insect Imitation is still good, and you really don't want to draw like multiple copies of Ladybug. It's kind of just like a 1 of or 2 of at most. And the one Hopper, just because Hopper's still really good. He's level 4, so you can do XYZ plays with him. He goes up to 2,500 with sword equipped. And you can, of course, do direct attacks. I've won games, actually, summoning Centipede, equipping Hornet, saying it, and then attacking direct with a sword equip for like 24. Like, you can win games like that. The other thing that actually makes him really good is he's level 4, so Insect Imitation. You can Insect Imitate Hornet if you're super desperate for that. So, and then the last Inzektor is Inzektor Giga-Mantis. You could totally play 2 of this card, I think, with Hornet at 3. It makes it a lot more consistent. I still need to test that out. I may actually just try out double Inzektor Giga-Mantis, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this card's amazing. This is like the OTK card along with Sword. You just equip Hornet and Giga-Mantis onto Dragonfly, use the Hornet to pop the Giga-Mantis, and then the Chain Link, you can resolve it in any order you want, but I usually do 1, 2 on Dragonfly, and then 3 on Giga-Mantis, so this will special summon a monster from the graveyard. Preferably you have a Centipede already in the graveyard, but you can always just special back the Hornet that it was used to pop the Giga-Mantis if you want, and then use that Hornet to equip the Giga-Mantis as a 2400 beater, so that's still really good. And then you get 2 special summons from the Dragonfly, which can grab you 2 Centipedes, and at that point you're just pretty much winning because it's like a 3-card combo, but you go Mega Plus because you're going to search twice off the 2 Centipedes too. So I'm playing double Cardcar D. I've always liked Cardcar D in this deck. A lot of people remember Michael Stibbins. It was like, oh gosh, three years ago, I think he won the YCS. That was probably the last time I did an Inzektor deck profile, actually. It was about 3 years ago. Maybe 2. But yeah, this card's still really good in here. You have like Threatening Roars and stuff for protection. Cardcar D is a plus. It thins out the deck. It's also a level 2, so you can Insect Imitate it into Dragonfly or Centipede. And especially if they Veiler it, you're just like, okay. And then you just Insect Imitate it, and then you go off anyways. So yeah, this card's really good. It just thins the deck. And I'm just playing 2 Maxx's, not 3. You could easily play 3 Maxx's in here, once again, because of Insect Imitate. It makes it a lot more consistent. But I opted for the Cardcar Ds because it makes going first a lot better in this deck. Because going first in this deck can kind of suck unless you open like Centipede and Ladybug or Centipede and Hornet with something to pop, like a sword or whatever. So I feel like 2 Maxx's more than enough. So that's it for the monsters, guys. So on to the spells. We have 1, 2 Inzektor Swords Zektcaliber. A lot of people I see in recent builds are just playing 1 because they like this card clogs. I completely disagree. I think you have to play 2 of this card. It's amazing. I've had fields where I didn't OTK the opponent. I have 2 Inzektors equipped with 2 swords, like a Dragonfly, and I have a Giga-Mantis in the graveyard already. They like blow up my board. These both activate because they're mandatory. And then you get to add back 2 Inzektor monsters from your graveyard. So you add back Giga-Mantis and Dragonfly, and then you have the OTK again next turn. It's amazing. It's super good. This is also just awesome because it makes it so your Centipede floats itself. So Centipede's always getting you a +1 every turn because you're popping a card and you're getting a search. So if it stays on the board, it's a +2 past the first turn, which is a pretty amazing thing to think about. It's a little slower, but I mean, if they can't get over the Centipede, then you basically just win. So like Billy breaks it at like 3 years ago when he played Inzektors after the first hit, and he's like, this deck does revolve around Centipede, and it really does because you need Centipede to get to Dragonfly to win the game. But you can still play this deck as a very grindy deck. So yeah, this deck actually is a really, really amazing Monarch matchup as well. That's pretty important to remember, just because you can, of course, hit their field spell, you can hit anything on their board, and you really don't need to use your extra deck in this deck. The extra deck is just like an extra crutch to make more powerful plays. So 2 Insect Imitation. This is just really good in here. It just speeds the deck up a little bit, gives you more combos. I love the combo where you summon Ladybug and you equip Hornet and your opponent like Veilers, and then you tribute the Ladybug because they don't think you're going to have the Insect Imitation to special Dragonfly, and you just win because they wasted their Veiler on Ladybugs. They didn't want to lose something on their board. It's really powerful. Like I said, once again, you can't use this to tribute any level 2 monster to special a level 3 insect monster from the deck. So like Maxx and Cardcar D both work for that. So that's really important to remember. Two Pot of Duality. I was thinking about playing 3, but I just feel like you don't need 3. I feel like 2 is probably fine. I may change things. Like, this is just the first build I've been testing. But it's been testing really well so far for as good as it's going to be, I think. Yeah, Duality just sends the deck. It gets you into your card. Like, Duality into Cardcar D is amazing. Duality into Centipede's really good. The worst thing you can do is Duality into a Dragonfly, and you're like, oh, that's the only Inzektor play I have. So you kind of have to just stop and wait a turn, which kind of sucks. But it's still really good, and I mean, consistency is key with decks like this. This is one of the few decks I will actually play triple MST in. I've always played 3 MST in Inzektors, just for the pure fact that basically you can use this to hit scales, you can use it to hit back rows, and most importantly, you can use it to hit your own equipped Inzektor cards. So if you don't have a Hornet to pop something, you want to get your plays started with Centipede, and you have a sword or something, and you're really desperate, you can always just go -1 to pop the sword or whatever, and then actually start getting your plays rolling. So it's really good for things like that. And if you've already used Hornet that turn, say, to pop something else, and you want to pop a Giga-Mantis that you search out of Centipede and you have MST in your hand, you can keep going with the combos. So MST is really good for that. One Allure of Darkness, I actually love this card in this deck. First of all, you can, of course, banish Dad if he's dead. He's rarely ever dead in this deck, but I mean, if you look at it in that sense. But the reason I like it is you can go Allure of Darkness, banish Centipede, Ladybug, Hornet now, which is awesome. You can banish Hornet and not care. And it gives you a Leviair target, which is really good because it keeps more advantage going towards your opponent and really, really pushes the plays. So yeah, I like Allure of Darkness. Just deck thinning is really good. I don't like Upstart in here. I see a lot of people playing Upstart in their Inzektors. I've never really liked it in this deck, just for the pure fact that I don't want to give my opponent life points in decks that do have a lot of just over 8,000 OTKs, which this deck does. So I don't know, I don't really like Upstart in that sense. So 1 Foolish Burial. You probably noticed I wasn't playing Mathematician either. I feel like you don't need Mathematician if Hornet goes up to 3. You're consistently drawing it. This is basically your 4th Hornet. You can also use this to dump Dragonfly, Ladybug, whatever you need. And I feel like you really just don't need Mathematician. It's slow. Your normal summon is really crucial in this deck. That's the biggest problem in this deck, is it relies a lot on its normal summon. So Foolish Burial, is just a better card than Mathematician. And as much as I like the idea of Mathematician in the deck because it draws cards, people are smart and they'll usually make Dweller, or they'll cast Stellar Mathematician or something, so you don't get the draw. But if you did play Mathematician, it's not terrible in here, just because you can use your Powerful Rebirth on it after it's been destroyed the first time, and then they can attack it again. You draw 2 cards 1 turn, kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. And the brokenness in this deck, Soul Charge. This card is insane in here. Yes, your battle phase is important, but if you can make a bigger board than your opponent, which this deck can make huge boards, really powerful boards, even though rank 3s aren't as good as they used to be, you can still make some really wicked boards. Just by soul charging 1 Dragonfly back after you've already done 1 Dragonfly play. So this is just the clutch GG card, and it's super good in this deck. Also, more graveyard control of Special Dark Arm Dragon, which is important to remember. So that's it for the spells. On to the traps. So 1, 2, 3 Powerful Rebirth. Anybody still playing Call the Haunted in this deck, you are doing it very wrong. Powerful Rebirth is a better version of Call the Haunted. And here's why. So Call the Haunted, if they MST your back row, or they twin twist your back row, it's Call the Haunted. You chain Call the Haunted, specials your monster because it resolves first, and then it'll just blow up. That was good when Sangan was a card, just because, of course, you get Sangan in the graveyard as soon as possible, and then Call the Haunted was really good in that deck because you would just call back Sangan. Same with Card Trooper, and you'd get a draw, or you'd get a search. You don't get that now because, first of all, Card Trooper is not good in this deck. It's wasting your normal summon on a Card Trooper is just too slow nowadays. And the other problem with it is that Sangan, of course, is banned. So, with Powerful Rebirth, the cool thing about this card is if they target it with the Destruction card and you chain it to special summon something from the graveyard, it'll permanently gain that level that it has, because it gains 1 level, increases the level by 1, I should say, and it gains 100 attack and defense. It keeps that buff even if this card leaves the field, which is kind of cool. But the most important thing to remember is this card just says when that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. It does not say the other thing called the Haunted says, where if this card is destroyed, destroy that monster. So if they MST this, you chain, you get your monster. This goes to the graveyard, you keep your monster, +1. So Powerful Rebirth, super good. It also allows you to do easier rank 4 plays. And one of the things I've really loved about it that I noticed is if I max C, I can always Powerful Rebirth back a Max C if I need to do a rank 3 play, because Max C comes back at level 3 instead of level 2. So that's really, really neat. Triple Fiendish Chain. I still love this card. It's obviously not as good as Solemn Strike. If you had Solemn Strikes, I'd say play that over Fiendish Chain. But I also kind of like this in this deck because it gives you a card that stays on the board that you can pop. If you need to pop something to keep your combos going, so that's really important. Double Threatening Roar. I'm not playing Mirror Force. The problem with Mirror Force is everybody's playing Twin Twisters and stuff right now, and then they just go for the OTK. Threatening Roar stops that. Threatening Roar is also really good because it stops your opponent from even attacking whatsoever. So you mean they can't like summon Satsimus or something else that actually has an effect when it attacks, and get their effect off. So that's still pretty relevant. I mean, Infernoids isn't a meta deck, but it was just an example. I also like it because you can like Cardcar D Threatening Roar, set Threatening Roar, Cardcar D, and then you don't have to worry about getting OTK, and then you can go off next turn. So I like Threatening Roar better because it's chainable, and if you keep your monsters on the board, you just keep on plussing off those Inzektor cards. So puts your opponent in a really dire situation. One Torrential Tribute really good in this deck, just because you can recur your stuff so easily. And you do run quite a few floater XYZ monsters that can get around Torrentials, so I'll get to those in a bit. The one Bottomless Trapple, really good against Pendulums, one Vanity's Emptiness, and the one Solemn Warning. So that's it for the trap cards. That's the entire deck, guys. That is 40 cards. Let's go on to the extra deck really quick here. So Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. This is just for OTKs, of course. Basically, you just overlay this on top of a rank 5 and makes your guy stronger, of course. It also works really well with Volcasaurus, because if you use Volcasaurus' effect to pop their monster and you want to direct attack that turn, you can still do so by just overlaying Gaia Dragon on top of it. It's one of those combos a lot of people have forgot about as the years have passed. I'm playing one Tiers. I still love this card. It's amazing. Just more destruction. You pop those back rows with your Inzektors, and then you like overlay them for a 5, make Tiers run something over, and then pop something else on their board. So you can go Mega Plus off of it. I just love Tiers. I mean, I got the room in the extra deck, so you might as well play it. The one Volcasaurus, like I said, this is just for OTKs and whatnot, and Volcasaurus is still a really good card, so I don't know why you wouldn't play it. Shark Fortress, once again, another card for OTKs. You can make it so it targets any monster on your side of the field, and it gets a double attack. So it's pretty much, you can do it on itself, you can do it on a Dark Arm Dragon and do 56, yada yada yada, so that's really good. And then one Inzektor Exostag. This card's awesome. So basically what it does, a lot of people forgot what this card does, but it's 2 level 5 insect type monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XY material from this card to target 1 monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Semicolon, so that's the cost you just target. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack and defense equal to half the original attack of the monsters equipped by this effect. So you could potentially equip 2 monsters to it. Plus, it's an Inzektor, so you can equip Inzektor Sword to it, you can equip Giga-Mantis, yada yada yada. So it's super good, it just gets a lot of problem cards off the board. And it's kind of like another copy of like Castellar 101 in the sense that it doesn't destroy, it just like equips the monster. So it's very similar to the big guy from DDDs that has like 5 names that I always forget. So and then we're playing the one Honor Arc. I do not own Master Key Beetle anymore. If I own Master Key Beetle, play that over Silent Honor Arc. You really don't need this card, but I mean it's just there because I can make it. And I mean Silent Honor Arc is still a great card. The one Castell, amazing. It's Castell. Dweller, really good against Mermails, really good against Monarchs. It's pretty much good against a lot of decks. It's just a super good card. Good against Inzektors. The one Cowboy, there is an OTK you can do with Cowboy as well, so that's important to remember. You get your opponent down to like, under 800 a lot, and just being able to make a Cowboy after that is really good. Now for the 6 rank 3s, I'm playing one Leviathan Dragon. I'm not playing Acid Golem. I don't like Acid Golem. I've never liked Acid Golem. Yes, he's a 3k beater, but he doesn't do anything, and he can hurt you more than help in a lot of situations. I love Leviathan Dragon because he detaches material. That's why he's better, I think. And he's just super good. Sometimes I actually want to run double Leviathan Dragon because there are a lot of times you can make like 2 of him and then just keep the plays going, and that's like 5,000 damage right there. But it's just once again space issues. Leviair, the Sea Dragon, yeah, Leviair is awesome in this deck. You can special back your banished cards off Allure, you can special back your banished cards off Dark Arm Dragon, yada yada yada, really good. Ghost Trick Alucard, this is the one you probably make the least, just because you pop so much anyways. But, I mean, this is the one card that I could potentially think about taking out for a second Leviathan Dragon. You know, it's the one you make the least just because you pop already, so. Equipped Engineer is awesome. You can bring this out when you have like a Dark Arm Dragon on the board, protects your Dark Arm Dragon. You can use it to protect Dragonfly in attack position, so you can pop more next turn, etc., etc. So, yeah, Equipped Engineer is awesome. The one Zen Mains, I love Zen Mains, one of my favorite cards ever. This was like $120. Now it's like $3. But yeah, Zen Mains is still really good just because it works well with Torrential, and I mean, after you do like a +2 pop play off Dragonfly, you can always just overlay for Zen Mains, then your opponent's like, well, I gotta get over that thing now too. So Zen Mains is still a good card. You can always play it aggressively too in like Crash. And my favorite card in the extra deck actually is number 49, Fortune Tune. This is very important. It cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And during each of your standby phases, you gain 500 life points. But the thing that makes it so good is that you basically going to, when it dies, it can only be destroyed by battle, essentially. Basically what happens, oh sorry, it can be destroyed by card effect too, but when it goes to the graveyard, you can target 2 level 3 monsters in your graveyard, you shuffle them both into the deck. So generally what you're going to do is you're going to put back like your centipedes, so you can special them again from the deck off Dragonfly, which is amazing. And then this goes back to the extra deck, so you can just keep making it over and over and over and over and over. I've made this thing like 3 times in a duel before. You just keep grinding out your opponent. So yeah, Fortune Tune's amazing. Anyways, guys, that is the deck profile. Just looking for a card here. Basically, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be playing this against Brendan a little bit just for funsies. Hornet should go back to 3. Comment down below if you guys agree. Do you guys miss Inzektors? I miss them. I just don't miss them at full power. Triple Dragonfly is stupid, but yeah, I mean, I think the deck's a lot of fun. If you guys have a friend that's willing to let you play like this, totally go for it, because I think it makes the deck a lot more consistent. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. Oh, yeah, and let's get this up to 30 likes. And I'll have an updated DDD deck profile for you guys with some new little combo techs in there. All right, thanks, guys. Peace.